They say storms bring destruction, but mine brought him. I never expected a knock on the door to change everything. Not when the rain was pounding, my lights were out, and loneliness clung to me like a second skin. But there he stood, drenched, breathless, and needing shelter. What followed wasn't just warmth by candlelight. It was something I hadn't felt in years. Could fate be that bold? Or was I just that desperate? I welcomed him in, but I had no idea what I was really letting into my life. And trust me, neither did he. You won't believe how it ends. I'm Julia, 50, and I've called the peaceful suburb of Maple Hill, Oregon, home for the past decade. Life here usually flows at a comforting pace, but recently, I felt a nagging restlessness, as if something essential is just out of reach. That Friday night, I was home alone, catching a rerun of an old black and white movie when, out of nowhere, the lights flickered and went out completely. Awesome, I thought, scrambling for candles. Exactly what I was looking for. I looked out the window and saw the wind picking up, bending the trees under a darkening sky. I lit a few candles, wrapped myself in my mother's old quilt, and settled onto the couch, ready to ride out the storm. The rain pounded the roof, each droplet tapping like a relentless beat. Out of nowhere, amidst the relentless rain, a loud bang echoed at my front door. My heart raced. Who would venture out in a storm like this? With flashlight in hand, I crept to the door and quickly glanced through the window. James, my neighbor from 2 doors down, stood on my porch, soaking wet. James moved in a few months back, a quiet, friendly guy in his early 50s who mostly kept to himself. We exchanged pleasantries but never dove into a real conversation. I swung the door open, shocked by how drenched he was. His dark hair clung to his forehead, and his shirt clung to his chest. He looked embarrassed, his cheeks flushed even in the soft candlelight. "Julia, sorry to interrupt," he shouted over the howling wind, "but a tree just crashed onto my driveway and it's completely blocking the road. My power's out, and my phone's dead." I was lost and had no other options. I jumped right in. "James, get in here. You'll freeze to death out there." He walked in and I quickly tossed him a thick towel. He dried off clumsily, throwing out apologies once more. I didn't want to step on any toes. "No way," I told him with a comforting smile. "We're next door. If we can't support one another in tough times, what's the point?" James's shoulders dropped at my words, and I led him into the living room. His features softened in the candlelight. I had never realized how vividly blue his eyes were, or how the lines at the corners hinted at countless untold stories. He perched on the couch, a slight shiver running through him. "You'd think I'd be more prepared at my age," he chuckled, rubbing his hands together. I flashed a quick smile. "Storms always catch us off guard," I said, reflecting not just on the weather but also on my own restless emotions lately. I passed him a cup of tea I brewed just before the power cut out. He clutched it tightly, warmth flooding his cheeks with color. With the wind howling outside, we dove into conversation. First the storm, then our stories. James recently relocated to Maple Hill, seeking a fresh start after the loss of his wife 5 years ago. I was taken aback by his openness. He spoke lovingly of his late wife, honoring her memory with quiet respect, but a hint of loneliness echoed within me. I revealed that I've been divorced for 7 years, as my marriage shifted from love to a quiet friendship. We drifted apart, I confessed quietly, staring into my tea. "Isn't it funny how loneliness just sneaks up on you?" James nodded, his eyes warm and understanding. He nodded, saying the silence is the toughest, especially on nights like this. A cozy silence enveloped us, punctuated by the rain's rhythm and the soft glow of candlelight. A warmth stirred within me, a feeling I hadn't experienced in years. Yet, I hesitated, wary of misreading this sudden, effortless intimacy between us. At last, James shattered the silence, his voice low and unsure. "Thanks for having me tonight, Julia." "No need for that." I reached out on a whim, my hand brushing lightly against his arm. "I'm really glad you knocked," I said honestly. "Storms like these hit hard, making me feel the weight of my solitude. Sharing it with someone is great." James's hand brushed against mine, and for a moment, I felt something unexpected, comforting and warm. "Me too," he whispered, locking eyes with me, sincerity radiating from every word. I've been spending a lot of nights alone lately, and it's surprising how easy it is to talk to you like this. My heart raced, caught off guard by the surprising depth of our connection. Thunder crashed outside, breaking the silence and amplifying the moment's intensity. I was irresistibly drawn to James like never before. As the wind howled and lightning flashed, we realized just how fragile and surprising this moment truly was. Heat rushed to my cheeks, catching me off guard. James cleared his throat, picking up on my hesitation. "Julia," he said softly, shattering the silence between us. "Let's keep it simple. I'd love to get to know you better and see where this could lead, if you're interested." His honesty hit me hard, and I fought back tears that threatened to spill. "Sounds great, James. Let's wait and see how we feel after the storm," I whispered earnestly. James flashed a warm smile, understanding gleaming in his eyes. "Absolutely, just chill. No pressure, no expectations." We huddled together through the stormy night, sharing stories and quickly forging a friendship that felt both fresh and reassuringly familiar. A spark ignited within me, brimming with hope and possibility, an emotion I thought I'd lost. As dawn neared, the storm faded, both outside and within. The real shocker of the night wasn't the wild storm or the downed trees. I found unexpected warmth with James. I had no idea how drastically our lives were about to shift, but one thing was crystal clear. The storm unleashed the unexpected, and there was no turning back now. Morning burst in, with pale sunlight streaming through the curtains, casting playful patterns on the wooden floor. Branches are strewn across yards, leaves cover the streets, remnants of last night's wild weather. Yet within my home, the storm's aftermath revealed a different tale, a story of openness, connection, and surprising friendships. James left just after sunrise to check the damage at his house, but his presence stayed with me long after he walked out the door. His eyes locked onto mine as he spoke. His voice radiates sincere gentleness. Those little moments looped in my mind, bringing a smile as I sipped my morning coffee. That afternoon, while I collected fallen branches in the yard, I spotted James coming back, moving slowly down the street. He halted for a moment at my property line, then strode confidently toward me. "Hey again," he called out, a warm smile on his face. "You've got a serious cleanup ahead." I chuckled, flicking a stray hair from my face. "It's not that bad. How's your place shaping up?" "Not great," he sighed, rubbing the back of his neck with a wry smile. "The tree smashed my fence and wrecked part of the roof. I'm tied up for a bit." I jumped in without a second thought, catching myself off guard. "I'm here to assist. 2 hands are better than 1. James looked surprised by my offer, but then his expression warmed with appreciation. "Are you really sure, Julia? You've got your own chaos to deal with." I planted my hands on my hips, playfully daring him. "Definitely. I owe you for last night's company." His face lit up with a genuine grin, blue eyes crinkling at the corners. "In that case, I gladly accept." Walking side by side to James's house, I couldn't help but notice how effortlessly comfortable it felt to be with him, even though we had just met. Being with him brought a sense of peace I hadn't felt in ages, making the upcoming challenge feel much more manageable. James's property was a mess. A massive tree sprawled across the driveway, splintered wood and twisted branches littering the yard. He scanned the room, shaking his head but keeping a positive vibe. "Looks like Mother Nature had different ideas for my weekend," he quipped. We chuckled, enjoying a shared moment of laughter. We jumped right in, cutting and moving branches, clearing debris, and quickly forming small piles by the curb. Time flew by, our conversation buzzing effortlessly, as if we were old friends. During our breaks, James shared captivating stories from his past, and I revealed my dreams and fears, thoughts I hadn't voiced in years. Last night's candlelit intimacy sparked a deep emotional bond that flourished under the open sky, fueled by understanding and trust. As the afternoon waned, we leaned on the porch railing, sipping cold lemonade, and James's expression turned contemplative. He glanced up at the sky. "Isn't that hilarious?" He pondered silently. "Often, the toughest storms reveal the clearest truths." I followed his gaze up, seeing the clear sky that just hours ago had been stormy with clouds. I just had a similar thought, I said, turning to face him. Sometimes, a bit of chaos is just what we need to spark our desire for connection. James turned to me, his eyes scanning my face, maybe catching the hidden vulnerability I'd kept from everyone for years. Julia, he said, his voice wavering. I've spent ages convincing myself I didn't need anyone else. Solitude was power. He hesitated. Being around you makes me see I've been fooling myself. His words struck me, a wave of sincerity that left me breathless. I quickly reached out, placing my hand firmly on top of his. His fingers curled around mine, warmth pulsing from that simple touch. Turns out we might have needed that storm more than we realized. I whispered softly, glancing at our intertwined fingers. His voice was soft and reflective. Maybe it's fate, Julia, life jolting us awake, showing us what we've been missing. We paused, soaking in the intensity of the moment. Silence crackled with tension, a thrilling anticipation that echoed louder than words. Finally, James shattered the silence, his voice low and intimate. How about I take you out for dinner sometime, Julia? I'd love to see you again, James said softly. In a more intentional setting, my heart warmed instantly, and a smile spread across my face. Absolutely, James. His face lit up, a mix of relief and excitement shining through. Good, he said, chuckling softly. I was honestly worried you'd say no. I gripped his hand with confidence. Absolutely not, especially after all we've been through. The sun dipped low, casting a golden glow across James's yard, reflecting in his eyes. A surprising tenderness blossomed between us, a delicate yet lively bond we never saw coming. But it felt real, undeniably genuine. As I walked home that evening, I felt lighter and filled with hope. Life surprised me in the best way, showing how warmth, kindness, and unexpected connections can enrich us when we least expect it. That night, as I got ready for bed, James's kindness, openness, and genuine vulnerability raced through my mind. I hadn't felt this hopeful about someone in ages. Did this storm really change everything? For the first time in years, I was excited to seek out the answers I didn't have. In the stillness of my bedroom, with evening crickets humming outside, I whispered a quick thank you. To the storm, to fate, and especially to James. I had no idea the emotional journey was just starting, and what lay ahead would transform us in unimaginable ways. Days flew by, with thoughts of James threading through every moment. I found myself smiling, lost in memories of our talks and the comforting warmth of his presence. At 50, I never expected to feel like a schoolgirl, anxiously waiting for that phone call. There I was, heart racing with every glance at his house. The day of our dinner had finally arrived. James suggested we hit up a charming Italian spot downtown, a cozy, family-owned joint famous for its soft lighting and intimate vibe. I haven't felt this nervous and excited in ages. That evening, I slipped into a sleek blue dress that made my eyes pop. I caught my reflection in the mirror and smiled, feeling the anticipation soften my features and bring back a youthful glow I had nearly forgotten. James showed up at my doorstep, a gentle smile on his face, and I was instantly breathless. He sported a sharp navy button-down, sleeves rolled up, paired with dark slacks that highlighted his strong, understated presence. He handed me a single, deep red rose, its fragrance captivating and delicate. "You look stunning, Julia," he said softly, his warm gaze full of sincerity. I blushed, took the rose, and breathed in its sweet scent. "Thanks, James. You're looking sharp too." We slid into a cozy corner table, bathed in soft golden lights at the restaurant. Soft music filled the air, setting a mood that welcomed connection and closeness. Conversation zipped along, filled with laughter and brief pauses of deep connection. James's eyes twinkled with humor as he shared lively tales from his youth. I shared stories from my past, amazed at how easily vulnerability flowed when I spoke to him. Halfway through our meal, James's face turned thoughtful, a brief pause flickering across his features. He set his fork down, locking eyes with me, a serious look on his face. "Julia," he started, "I need to share something with you. It's been on my mind since the storm." I stopped, my heart racing. "Go on," I urged, masking the flicker of anxiety that bubbled up. He inhaled sharply, collecting his thoughts. It's been ages since I've let myself feel this way about anyone. Since losing Grace, my late wife, I've kept my emotions in check. I believed that blocking vulnerability would shield me from hurt. He glanced down, then shot his gaze back up. Meeting you made me see I've been missing something vital. His honesty moved me profoundly. I instinctively reached across the table and placed my hand on his. Thanks for sharing this, James. It's completely understandable to be cautious after losing someone you loved deeply. Vulnerability, allowing ourselves to feel deeply, is what gives life its meaning. His gaze softened with gratitude, relief flooding his features. Absolutely, Julia, this evening means everything to me. I'm ready to open up and embrace the chance to feel something real again. By your side, his words made my heart swell, warmth flooding my chest. I feel the same, I whispered, vulnerable yet safe with him. I've spent ages acting like I was totally okay alone. Deep down, I crave real connection. Your arrival in that storm made me see what I had been missing. We shared a brief moment of connection, fingers intertwined on the tablecloth, relishing our closeness. After dinner, we strolled briskly through town under the warm glow of street lamps. The night was cool, a breeze rustling the leaves around us. My hand instinctively reached for James's. Our fingers intertwined effortlessly. It felt perfect, simple but deeply significant. As we zipped by a small park bathed in moonlight, James paused, turning to me in the tranquil night. He quickly reached up and gently swept a strand of hair from my face. His fingertips brushed softly against my cheek. Julia, he whispered, his voice soft and genuine. Meeting you has shown me the joy of sharing life with someone special. This caught me off guard. I never thought it could happen. Now that you're here, I want to hold on to this feeling. My breath hitched, heart racing at the sincerity sparkling in his eyes. Me neither, James. You've unlocked my heart in ways I never thought possible. He leaned in, pausing just enough to seek my permission. I tilted my face up, our lips meeting softly. Our kiss was gentle and sincere, carrying more meaning than words could express. Under the moonlit sky, the loneliness that marked our recent years vanished entirely. As we separated, James leaned in, his forehead resting softly against mine, eyes shut, fully immersed in the moment. I never thought I'd feel this way again, he admitted softly. Me too, I whispered, my fingers gently tracing the side of his face. Thanks for seizing the opportunity. Walking home hand in hand under the stars, I felt transformed. Bright, uplifting, and deeply inspired. Our surprising evening opened doors within us, letting warmth and closeness rush into the guarded spaces we had held back for too long. James stopped at my doorstep, turning to me with a soft look in his eyes. Thanks, Julia, for tonight and all that you've done. I smiled, squeezing his hand with affection. Tonight marks the start, James. I really believe that. As he strolled home, my heart surged with gratitude. Life surprised us in ways we never thought possible. I felt revitalized, emotionally charged, and intensely connected, my heart racing with excitement for what lay ahead. What I didn't realize was that our adventure was only starting, and the biggest revelation was right around the corner. The following weeks flew by in a vivid blur, each day bursting with energy and life. James and I maximized our time together, enjoying long walks, cozy evenings, and a refreshing companionship I thought was lost. My lonely world transformed into a vibrant, fulfilling experience. On a sunny afternoon, while sipping coffee on my front porch, James looked at me thoughtfully, his gaze a mix of gentleness and seriousness. Hey Julia, he said, I've been reflecting on how odd it is that our paths crossed that stormy night. Feels like fate just took the wheel. I leaned in, smiling warmly against him. I've had the same thought. A storm brought an unexpected wonder into my life. He gave my hand a warm squeeze. Me neither. It's been ages since I felt a real connection with anyone. Now there's no way I'm going back. Distant thunder broke our quiet reflection, a subtle reminder of the night our journey started. Clouds rolled in, rumbling softly, a beautiful chaos brewing in the sky. That evening, as rain drummed on the window, James caught me off guard by pulling an old photograph from his wallet. He handed it to me with a soft, nostalgic expression. "This was Grace," he said softly, his voice filled with a tender respect. "I carry this photo with me daily since she left us. Tonight's the night to finally let go." I scrutinized the faded photograph. Grace was a delightful woman with a radiant, authentic smile, clearly loved and deeply cherished. James's openness struck a chord, filling me with empathy and gratitude. "She was stunning, James. She had to be something extraordinary," I whispered earnestly. He nodded, eyes thoughtful. "She was there. She showed me the power of loving openly, without holding back. I never thought I'd feel that again. But now, Julia, I've discovered something amazing with you. You've revived me." Tears welled up as I carefully returned the photograph to his hand. "James, your sharing means the world to me. I want to celebrate your past, acknowledge your losses, and treasure what we're creating together." He gazed at me intensely, his eyes sparkling gently. "I totally get you, Julia. Meeting you showed me that love knows no bounds. Our hearts grow, they don't swap out. I never thought I could feel this intensely again. Here we are, and it just feels right." My heart soared as we embraced, holding each other tightly while rain drizzled against the windows. A brief moment of gratitude, a nod to loss, growth, and the thrilling complexity of rediscovering love. Weeks later, James invited me for a weekend escape to a cabin in the mountains. The setting was ideal, quiet, peaceful, and utterly romantic. We hiked scenic trails for hours, shared laughs, and dove into deep conversations under impossibly bright stars. On our final night, we huddled by the crackling fireplace, cozy in a soft quilt. James faced me, his eyes a mix of warmth and vulnerability. "Julia, these last few months have changed me in ways I never imagined. I never imagined meeting someone who gets me like you do. You've reignited my heart and brought more joy into my life than I ever imagined possible." Joy surged through me, my eyes glistening with happiness. "I'm right there with you, James. You've reignited my spirit. Life without you? Can't even picture it." He dug into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. My heart raced, breath hitching as excitement surged through me. James's voice quivered, sincerity shining through each word. "Julia, fate connected us in the most surprising way. A storm, a fallen tree, and a soft knock on your door. I'm convinced we were destined to cross paths. Tonight, I want to ask you." He popped open the box, unveiling a stunning, glittering ring. "Will you be my forever?" Tears flowed down my cheeks as I nodded eagerly, laughing softly with pure joy. "Absolutely, James. Yes, I'll marry you." He slid the ring onto my finger and pulled me into his embrace. We shared a heartfelt kiss under the firelight, sealing the start of something truly special. We rushed home to share our exciting news with friends and neighbors. Their warm congratulations mirrored the joy we felt inside. Yet, deep down, we understood our real celebration was much quieter and more profound. Love thrives on vulnerability, openness, and emotional courage. Months later, we tied the knot in a cozy backyard ceremony, surrounded by close friends, neighbors, and family. Our vows captured our journey. Honest, heartfelt, and deeply emotional. Standing before James, I locked eyes with him and realized the storm, both real and emotional, had led us precisely where we belonged. As twilight settled in, James took my hand, smiling warmly at me. "Are you set for what's next, Mrs. Anderson?" I squeezed his hand, filled with gratitude and hope. "As long as we tackle it together, James, I'm all in for anything." We stood together under a sky bursting with stars, our hearts connected by vulnerability, openness, and respect. Our journey was unexpected, emotional, and life-changing in ways we never imagined. As we looked ahead, one thing was clear. We uncovered something extraordinary together. Embrace love boldly, freely, and without looking back. Every storm we faced was worth it, and as we stood together, hands intertwined, beneath the starlit sky of Maple Hill, I realized something I hadn't felt in years. I was home, not just within the four walls of my house, but in his eyes, in his heart, in this second chance at love that I never saw coming. If life has ever surprised you, if you've ever thought your story was over only to find a new chapter beginning, then maybe you understand what I felt that night. Sometimes storms don't destroy, they deliver. They uncover truths we've buried deep. They bring us face to face with the love we didn't know we were missing. If the story touched you, don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments, hit the like button, and subscribe to follow more stories like this. Because love finds us when we least expect it, and sometimes it knocks during a storm.